Hi, my name is Bob Crumroy. I'm the CEO of Identity Branding and the President and Creator of eRelationship. This quick learning segment is focused on referrals. Let's start by setting a premise that getting referrals is not nearly as intimidating or as difficult a task as many agents and financial professionals think. It can actually be a very comfortable and friendly interaction with a client, especially if you tell the client that you never contact anyone who's referred to you unless you and the client can agree on how an introduction to the contact should be made. You can go on to explain that most referrals appreciate having an introduction, and candidly, you feel exactly the same way. That small statement will usually diffuse any hesitations of talking about possible referrals. Here's the three components for referral approach. Number one, establish a value agreement. Make sure that the client is given an opportunity to verbally express their thoughts. Otherwise, you don't have a commitment of value. Number two, explain your guarantee of staying in touch. And this is not only a guarantee that you'll stay in touch with them, but with their friends whom they're willing to share with you. And number three, ask permission for a discussion of friends, but with the explicit guarantee that you won't contact them unless they agree on how to introduce you. Let's go ahead and listen to how the three components work in a referral talk when put all together. And we'll start with the value agreement. Jack, when we began working together, we started our process by talking about some of your big picture financial goals, some of your objectives and your concerns. And then we reflected on today's challenges and took a more specific look at what you had already implemented. I think that provided a great foundation for developing some value recommendations that have the potential to make your financial goals more attainable. But without putting words in your mouth, where do you feel the greatest value of our work has been? Tell me what you liked most about the process and how it was handled. Now be quiet until they respond. Number two, stay in touch guarantee. One of the core principles of my business is my guarantee to stay in touch each month through the sharing of important financial information and tips. It's a guarantee that not only do I make to my clients, but also to friends that my clients refer to me. I treat all referrals as if they were already privileged clients. I offer to send them the same monthly financial tips and messages that I send to my clients, especially if they think that's preferable before agreeing to meet. That gives your friends the opportunity to get to know me and the type of work that I do. Most of my clients really appreciate this, and if you were to refer someone to me, do you think your friends would appreciate that approach? And again, be quiet and let them respond. Discussion of friends. You know, Jack, I do the majority of my business with two categories of people. First, people I personally meet, and second, people my clients introduce me to. I want you to know that I never call anyone without first getting introduced to them in a way that we both feel they would appreciate. And with that being said, would you brainstorm with me on some friends you believe might benefit from my work? If we both think that they might be good contacts, you can tell me if it would be best to get introduced in person, maybe over the phone, or maybe even through a simple email introduction. However you think would be the right method. So who's the first person that comes to your mind? Is it someone you work with or maybe a friend you socialize with? Now, if the client hesitates, just repeat this. You know, Jack, I'm sure that your friends would at least appreciate receiving my monthly financial information as a starter. They can then decide later if they'd like to meet. It's that simple. So who comes to mind that might appreciate receiving my monthly financial briefs? That's an easy place to start. My suggestion to you as a producer is that you memorize your own referral talk and make sure that you use the three components just as we demonstrated. Remember, the three components are as follows. Number one, establish a value agreement. In other words, make sure that the client is given an opportunity to verbally express their thoughts. Otherwise, you don't have a commitment of value. Number two, explain your guarantee of staying in touch, not only with the client, but with their friends whom they're willing to share with you. And number three, ask permission for a discussion of friends. but with the explicit guarantee that you won't contact them unless you agree on how to introduce you. In closing, I also want you to be realistic in your expectation. 20% of clients aren't going to give you a referral. This is not because you're not asking right. It's because their personal life experiences just doesn't support giving referrals. For some reason, referrals just don't work for them. So don't worry. Respect them. Be very gracious and just keep connecting 12 to 15 times a year with your client base. Things sometimes just have a way of turning around, and it just may happen with your client in the future. Remember, getting referrals will almost always work if you ask, even if you ask and it's not perfect. But not asking referrals should never be an option. So good luck, and get started with your commitment to ask for referrals every single time. The payoff is significant, but only for those who ask.